Today on Wedding Worthy, we're sharing the heartwarming love story of Marta and Ian Brumbaugh, high school sweethearts who turned a lunch line meeting into a lifetime of love. From their early days in high school to college and now adulthood, Marta and Ian have been inseparable, growing together every step of the way. Their wedding was a stunning tribute to their journey, filled with heartfelt vows, vibrant decor, and personal touches that beautifully honored both of their heritages. It was an unforgettable celebration of the love they've built together. Join us as we relive Marta and Ian's picture-perfect day, where every detail was crafted with love. Welcome to Wedding Worthy, where we celebrate incredible couples and the love stories that shape their perfect day.
Now we're the Taylors.
We're married.
From heartfelt vows to breathtaking designs, every wedding detail reflects the journey that brought them together.
It was everything I could have ever imagined, and I was so happy with how everything had turned out.
So get ready to swoon as we take you inside the most extraordinary weddings and the love stories that make them wedding worthy. You're watching Wedding Worthy, where we believe every couple has a story.
My name is Ian Brumbaugh. I'm a technical support specialist for a bus transportation company.
I'm Marta Brumbaugh, and I am a sales trainer for a law firm. We met over 10 years ago in high school, actually, in the lunchroom. And the story's funny because I was getting in line to actually flirt with somebody else, and he didn't care what I had to say, and behind him was this guy that was laughing at everything I said, and I said, I gotta get to know this guy. Who is this person? You knew who I was. So.
Oh yeah, I knew who you were, and you thought I was my brother at first.
I thought he was his older brother, so once I discovered he was his own person, I was very excited.
For me, I was a sophomore in high school when we first met, and she was a junior in high
Yeah, I
school.
was a junior.
She was really quirky. The jokes she was saying were kind of like what I would say, so I really felt at ease with her, and I mean everything was just genuinely funny, and I loved it all.
We have the same sense of humor. Yeah.
For our first date, I wasn't able to drive at the time, so thankfully she was able to drive us
I'm older
everywhere.
than him. I'm 1 year older.
Right. So we decided after school we were going to go to get lunch, dinner, whatever you call it. I mean, it's like 3 o'clock. So we went to Panera and we were there for about 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
Eventually she took me back to my house and I was like, hey, maybe you should meet my parents because they're probably wondering where I've been for the past 2 hours. So you met them. Naturally, my brother was also home at the time, but he was visiting my grandparents. So I still couldn't drive, but I wanted to go over. I said, hey, do you mind taking me over and dropping me off?
So I went to his grandparents, and I met his grandparents. I met his brother, his cousin, his uncle. I met his whole family on the first date.
First date, yep.
I was excited to meet his family, and I just never thought, oh man, I hope this doesn't go south. But thank God it ended up working out. He didn't ask me, let it be known that he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend until we were dating for a month and a half.
Yeah, we took our time.
Why did you not ask me to be your girlfriend?
So honestly, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a prank that she was pulling on me. I thought you were way out of my league, and there was no way I could ever even talk to somebody like you, but thank God I'm wrong.
He was wrong. I was just waiting. I'm like, make it official. How I knew that Ian was the one, I guess you would say, is how he interacted with my little sister. So my little sister, we have a 13-year age gap, so she was like 4 years old, 5 years old when he met her, and he would play with her, they'd play games, like we'd watch movies, and the way that he treated her, I was like, this is a good guy. And so family's everything, and that was it for me.
I knew Marta and I had something special when she would risk her life to come visit me up when I was at school at Penn State Behrend for college.
That's in Erie, PA.
So yeah, she would drive 2 hours north through blizzards and snowstorms just to come see me for 3 days maybe.
That's love.
Yeah, right.
We're both from Canonsburg, PA, so a little south of Pittsburgh, and I went to Slippery Rock University, which is a little more up north, and he went even more up north.
I went more up north to a branch campus of Penn State called Behrend, which is located in Erie, PA. We decided to do long distance because, I mean, we really liked each other and we were very comfortable. We did have some rocky moments. We took a small break, but it was like a week or two,
week.
maybe. But after that, we realized how much we really loved each other, and then we decided to make long distance really work.
I think in college, when I started to meet other people, I was realizing how amazing I have it. And like, it's just so special, and he's my best friend. And I looked forward to every weekend being able to drive up and visit you. And I made up my own group of friends within your friends. And college was great, but yeah, we were 2 hours away from each other.
Yep. So when I was ready to propose to Marta, first I asked her dad on the 4th of July. He's very
Traditional.
Very traditional. He's a big patriot, so he loved that I asked him on that day. And he was crying. We were both crying. We were both very happy. But when I was ready to propose to her, I decided I wanted somewhere that was beautiful, and we live by a beach, so I thought a beach would be nice. I wanted to surprise her, though, so it was hard to get somebody to film at the beach without her noticing. Thankfully, we were going on a trip with Marta's current company at the time to the Bahamas. A lot of her friends were there, and so I reached out to one of their husbands, and I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind helping me with this while we're there? I'm like, everyone's gonna be taking content and pictures. It'll blend in naturally. I'll do it the last night that we're there, because we're going to a nice dinner, and then we'll do like sunset pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll propose then, but everybody will be taking pictures of us, so we'll have videos, pictures, and then slowly the word spread, and then everybody at the whole facility knew I was proposing that night.
Yes.
Became obvious.
And to add to that, when we were taking our pictures, when I turned around, we were taking pictures from behind the back, and I turned around and I saw 5 or 6 people with their phones up. And I'm like, this is a little suspicious. And so I said, if he's not proposing now, this is very strange. And then there was a hesitation, and you didn't. And then I started to walk away, and I turned around, and you were like, wait, and you were on one knee, and he was proposing with the ring in his hand.
So we were
over the ocean.
We were on a pier, and I was nervous the whole time because the box wouldn't fit in my pocket. So I just had the ring in my pocket, and I was like, this is crazy. And then I looked down, and I saw, like, you could see the gaps in between the boards, and I was like, oh my God, if I drop this ring, it's all over. Like,
you didn't drop it.
I did not
grabbed
drop
it. He asked. I grabbed it, and I put it on my hand right
instantly.
away.
I don't think I said a word. You just
No, I
kind of
said, yep.
just grabbed it.
I wanted to be engaged all year, and it was the end of October, and I was like, if he makes me go to another Thanksgiving and another holiday without a ring, I will be very sad. And so I was hoping that it was going to happen, but I thought it would happen back home at the beach at any time. So I really didn't know until when I turned around and saw all those phones on me, and that's when I knew, but then I didn't know, and then I knew again. So yeah, I kind of had an inkling. I have a really big family. My mom is actually from Spain, so she met my dad when he was in the Navy, in the U.S. Navy. So she's from Spain, my dad's American, and my dad has so many relatives. Like, our wedding was like 200 people, and I feel like 150 was my side. I just have such a big family. But yeah, my dad served in the Navy, and my mom also does sales training, so I'm kind of like her mini-me, so I've learned a lot from her. I incorporated a lot of my Spanish culture actually into the wedding, which was really cool. And I am the oldest of 4 girls, so I'm definitely the very cliche oldest daughter stereotype. Yeah.
So my family thought Marta was great immediately. We're very easygoing people, not as big as her family, and she would come around often. We'd hang out at my place most of the time, and my mom's always like, you guys want to go out to eat? What do you guys want to do? Like, very involved, just wants to hang out with us, and it's really nice just sitting down watching TV with them and chatting about how our day was.
It was so comfortable, and he has a brother, so it's 2 boys, so I think she was excited to have like a girl in the house.
I knew Marta would fit in very well with my family because she is pretty competitive as we are. So we often like to play board games, video games, any other game, sports, making stuff up on the fly just to be a little competitive. And she joins in easily.
My family's very competitive too, so that kind of worked out.
It helps because I like hanging out with her family and being competitive. We'll play all kinds of sports from horseshoes to bowling to whatever else you can think of. I'll join in happily.
Yeah, we play games all the time. We play card games, and our favorite card game is called Euchre, and it was actually in our the best man speech at the wedding. So it's very important to us.
Yes.
Aside from being competitive, how Ian fits in with my family is because he's all about family. Like, that's our biggest thing. Like, we've always said that we don't have a lot of friends. We did get some friends in college, but we're just so much about spending time with family. And because he had that value, I knew that it would work with mine too.
I love Marta, but there is one thing that will drive me crazy.
What?
She has a really strong sense of smell, which is great when things smell good. But man, when things smell bad, she's going to let you know about it.
Sorry, it's a curse. It's a curse. I am type A, oldest daughter. I don't procrastinate. This guy procrastinates everything. Everything is, I'll get to it. And I have a checklist every day, and I have to check things off my checklist. And he doesn't like lists.
I don't like lists.
If I could tattoo, if I was gonna get a tattoo, it would say lists. Like if I was an action figure, you would pull my arm and it would say, let's make a list. I love lists. He doesn't. The hardest thing we've had to go through in our relationship is whenever we moved away from our family. We lived like 8 hours away from everybody, and at first it was great living at the beach, but after a while we felt a little isolated and we missed our family. Our family was going through some really hard times back home that we weren't able to be there with them. I was going through a career shift and was struggling financially, and it was honestly depressing me, and it was really really hard. And so we had to be there for each other, and you were there for me through everything, and I love you so much, and I appreciate you. And we pushed through, and it all ended up working great. I got a new job. We moved back home to Pennsylvania with our family, and we're so happy now. We didn't have an engagement party because we were away from everybody, but we did have a bridal shower. I had a bridal shower.
Yeah,
It was Bridgerton themed, and it was like a little tea party. It was so cute, and it was at a country club that had golf, obviously a golf course, and so he was golfing with my dad and all the guys, and it was fun because I could see when their cart would come to like a hole that was close to the balcony, I would just wave and get so excited.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
fun.
Ian, he's over there. So and then
Everybody would be cheering.
Yeah, and then he came at the end. So the bridal shower was great.
We had a bachelor party for me. Me and about 7 or 8 other guys, we went to Nashville. We got an Airbnb for like a long weekend. I wanted to have 1 night, 2 nights out, and 1 night I wanted to stay in and play games because I'm very competitive. So I set up like a beer Olympics kind of thing with guys, and we just played all kinds of drinking games and stuff, and it was fun.
I did not have a destination bachelorette. Like I said, I'm the oldest of 4 girls, so everybody is young and we don't have the funds, right? So we I hosted a bachelorette. So everybody, all my sisters and my cousin and my best friend, they just came to my house, which is at the beach anyway, Virginia Beach, where we lived at the time. And so we all just slept in air mattresses, and we went to the beach, we rented a boat, we went to a spa, and got sushi, and did like a paint and sip and played games. It was so fun. I wish I could relive it. It was really special. So my bridal party was my 3 sisters and my cousin, who we call number 4 because she's like my 4th sister. She's my best friend. So I just had 4 people for 4 girls, and then you had 4 guys.
Yep. So I had my brother as my best man, my 2 cousins, and my best friend from high school.
We got married on September 7th, 2024 at Gervasi Vineyard in Ohio. Yes, there are vineyards in Ohio, and they are beautiful. So highly recommend checking it out.
The main planner for our wedding, the only planner for our wedding, was this person right here.
We did not hire a wedding planner. That was not in the budget. And oh my gosh, it is so clear as to why this is a career for people, because it was so much work. You work all day till 5, and then you get home and you have other things you have to do, and I'm on my computer researching states away, planning my wedding. So planning involved spreadsheets. It involved multiple whiteboards with different checklists. I also had sticky notes that I could rip off because it's very satisfying ripping off a sticky note when you're done with it. I also had a shared Google document with my bridal party so they could go in and see what needs done and check mark things off for me to help out. Yeah, there was a lot of moving parts. I also had a binder that was laminated with all my contracts with my vendors and all the how I wanted the table set, so that way on the day of the wedding I could give this binder to the coordinator and turn my brain off and be present, and that did work out pretty well.
So we incorporated some special touches that related to us, to our wedding. We started with like Slovenian polka dancing for me. My family's Slovenian. I polka dance like whenever I can, and I was like, we need to have at least 2 to 4 songs at the wedding, and we had those. I like games, so all of our the cocktail hour had tons of games and stuff there. I love popcorn, so we got the Pittsburgh popcorn bar.
Oh, the popcorn bar
Tiramisu.
is so cool.
I said we need to have tiramisu there. It has to be there.
How we incorporated some things from my side of the family was we actually did a flamenco dance, my mom and I. So we're from like the south of Spain, so we put on a sevillana, and I ordered this custom gown from Spain, and we had to get it altered so many times. It was stunning and customized to my body, and I had to learn how to dance in a couple weeks. I really didn't know, and so I was so nervous, but I danced with my mom, so that was really, really special. We also had my aunt as our officiant in the wedding, so that was really special.
We had cardboard cutouts of our cats there since we couldn't bring them with us, but we wanted to so badly.
Yeah, giant cardboard cutouts of the cats. We also had a specialty, my cousin made a specialty cocktail drinks with the cats' names and faces on it. And we even had our table numbers. We thought this would be really special. The table numbers were us at each age. So if it was table 2, it was Ian and I at age 2. So it was really fun going through those photo albums with our families.
And we're also very family oriented. So we had a table specifically for all of our family and everybody invited. Their wedding pictures were on display.
So you'd go to the table and try to find yourself. And it was so cool to see people, you know, some people got married 30, 40 years ago and they could see their photos. So it was really, really cool. I knew that I wanted my wedding to be outside, and I knew I wanted it to have a very Mediterranean feel, just because I love Spain so much. So Spanish, Italian. So we found this vineyard, and the villas and all of the architecture just looked like you were in Tuscany, Italy. So I just leaned on that and decided to go with very colorful florals. I love color. I love color so much. So I definitely wasn't going to have white flowers. And I trusted my florist. I gave her a couple screenshots from Pinterest and she created it. And it was such a nice vibe. It just felt like you were at like a castle in
so nice.
Italy. Yeah. So my wedding dress was not that easy to find. I actually tried on over 50 wedding dresses and went to 7 different locations to find a dress. And I was losing hope, and when I was at my last boutique, the girl was around the corner and she had a dress behind her back, and she said, "Hear me out, imagine this in white." And she pulls out this black dress. And I'm like, okay. And so I tried it on and I loved it. It felt so regal. And so they said, we can order it in for you in white for you to try it on. So I paid like $100 for them to get it in. So I tried it on and I tried it on. And that feeling that you want, I wanted that feeling of like, this is the dress. And I finally got it. But I did want to customize it because it was pretty plain. So I actually had the person at the boutique put pearls all over it. We had them design a giant bow for the back of the dress. I also added more like crinoline to make it more of a Cinderella type of shape to it. And I got gloves and I wanted my hair up. I just wanted a full Cinderella moment because at the beginning I think I wanted a mermaid gown because I am Spanish and I do love that kind of silhouette. But when else am I going to wear a ball gown than my wedding day? And it was the best decision ever. I felt like a princess.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was beautiful.
Thanks.
So we did a first look for before our wedding. I'm a little bit camera shy and a little nervous, so I wanted to do the vows beforehand, and it was really good. It helped me not get through it, but like feel more comfortable later at the ceremony.
Yeah, so we did a first look and we read our vows privately, and it was so intimate and powerful. And then we did decide to read them again in front of everybody else because we had a lot of people saying they would love to hear what our vows are. So it kind of just shook off the nerves. But it was still, you were still crying when I walked down the aisle.
I cried the whole time.
He cried the whole time.
Yeah.
It was great.
But it's all right. I made everybody else cry, so it was fine.
We set the tone.
When I first saw Marta in her wedding dress, my heart stopped. I was just in shock, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, she was just so beautiful, and I mean, I was crying instantly, and I was just so happy.
We DIY'd a couple things for the wedding. Towards the end of the wedding planning, I was getting to the point where I was pretty much throwing money at things and saying, just do it. I don't want to do it myself. But I did know that I wanted to get a mirror and do a seating chart. It's funny though, because here's my advice for you if you are doing any sort of DIY for your wedding. Do not leave anything for the morning of, like I did. So the seating chart, because we were transporting it hours away, I didn't want to put the pages onto the mirror and them get wrinkled or damaged in transport. So I said, it's okay. Someone will do them the morning of or the night before. Someone became me. So I got to the bridal suite the morning of the wedding and saw the mirror had 3 pages of tables on it. And people were very busy, and I said, what is going on? Why is this not done? And so for the first 30 minutes of my wedding morning, I was building this mirror, and the double-sided tape was sticking, and I was shaking, and things were ripping. Luckily, I had backups. And finally, after 30 minutes, my sister noticed me and came over and gave me a mimosa and said, Marta, let me do this. I see what you're doing. I can do it. And she finished it for me, and I was finally able to be present. So if you're doing any DIYs, do not leave anything
early
for the morning of.
So the hardest thing about planning the wedding was knowing that we were probably going to disappoint people, but really it was for us.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too worried about it.
I'm a people pleaser. I wanted I want everyone to like everything,
Of course, yeah.
and have the best time and be happy with every decision. And, sometimes collaborating with people, it's hard. And they say the hardest thing you'll do in your marriage is first the wedding planning, because we had to go through
that was hard.
a lot of ups and downs. But other than that, it was great. But it's definitely, sometimes it can be hard with family planning. Looking back on our wedding day, there's nothing that I would change that we could control. The one thing that we couldn't control was the weather. So it was the one day in September where it was so cold and windy, and so everybody was cold, but I can't control that. So everything else was perfect, and I wish I could relive it over and over again. One memory from the wedding that stands out to me is when the officiant, my aunt, asked us to turn around because we're facing each other, right? And she said, now turn around and look at your people. She told us to look at the crowd. And that is in my head, right? Because when I'm walking down the aisle, I couldn't really see anybody. I'm just looking at you. And then when I'm up there, I'm just looking at you. And so that was really special to be able to take 20 seconds and see our people all together smiling and so excited looking at us.
My most memorable moment was seeing Marta for the first time in our first look.
Aww.
Even though everything went perfect, the night before I scared my bride-to-be by locking myself out of my room without my phone and having to wait for somebody to come by and help me. So it was late at night, and I stopped texting back because my phone was in the room, and she probably was panicking and freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the night before our wedding, and I don't hear from you for an hour and a half. It was a little shocking.
It was strange. I always text back.
And
fast.
Or we call each other, or like you say something nice, like, can't wait to marry you tomorrow, or something. And
just
so
silence.
Very nerve-wracking. And so after about an hour and a half, he called me and was like, oh my gosh, I've been locked out. Someone finally let me back in. Something that unexpectedly happened was it poured rain the night before, so our original location for our ceremony had to be changed. It was a swamp. So my sister came over to me the morning of, and she got on her knees and she said, Marta, I need you to calm down and breathe, but the venue is swamped. We have to relocate. And I kept it together and prayed. And I said, you know what? God's will, it's going to be okay. And so then we get to the venue, and they just moved it like 20 yards to the left or something under this tree, and it ended up being so beautiful because my walk now with my father was so much longer and more dramatic. And for you, I think it was cool to see me from that far away, and it wouldn't have been, if it was right by the pavilion, the curtains would have opened and I would have been 10 steps to the altar. I don't even know if we could have fit everybody there, so it ended up working out. The coolest thing about dating somebody for 11 years is watching them grow and growing yourself. So I've been able to see you go from, a boy playing soccer in high school and going to those games and stuff, to seeing you tackle college and grow independently there, and then the professional world or living on your own, moving out of state and losing friends and gaining friends. And it's the coolest thing to just watch somebody's life unfold like right before your eyes and to share it with somebody else too. Because like I went through so many changes and ups and downs too. And we've grown together. Like we've been able to grow up together, which is so cool.
Marta's grown a lot since we first met. She is still very type A and very get it done and here's what we're going to do and this is how it's going to be. But she's now much more emotional, very open to talking, and I think that's because of me.
Yes, and I'm more present because he appreciates the little things in life and
taking it slow.
Like appreciating just sitting down for like
Just
a whole
relaxing
day
for a
and
little bit.
relaxing. And I never did that, and now I'm there where I'm like, you know what, that's valuable quality time.
Yeah.
So what I've learned in this long of relationship is that love is a choice, and that might be controversial, but I think that you choose to love your person through everything, through every emotion they feel, through every thing that they go through, for every issue they have, because I have my issues, you have your issues, and it's loving them in spite of those, and it's a choice. And he's my best friend, and I know that I've been with you for 11 years, and I'll be with you for
The rest of
60
them.
more.
Right.
Like, at least that's my take on love. What about you?
No, I mean, I agree. I see it pretty much the same way. We are most looking forward to getting a home and starting our family. Now that we're close to our family, it's really nice to have them around us and be excited with us for what the future holds.
We definitely have some parents that are waiting to be grandparents. So hoping to get a house that, we can fill with children. So what I love most about Ian is how selfless he is and how he puts everybody else first. Too much sometimes, which I try to help him with, but the way that you prioritize other people, that's why I want you next to me forever, because I just want it to rub off on me, because I'm so driven and worried about my own goals, and I want to be more like you. So that's what I envy, and how present you are and how you appreciate the little things in life.
What I love most about Marta is how smart she is, how beautiful she is, and how she makes me a better person every day. She lets me express myself and be who I am, and she joins in with me when I'm being weird and silly, and it's nice.
He's a nerd.
Yeah.
I love him.
You're watching Wedding Worthy, where we believe every couple has a story.